Alright, Chapter 4, Track Relaying Machines. Government India Ministry Railways, Indian Railways Track Machine Manual, 2nd edition, September 2019. Alright, Chapter 4, Track Relaying Machines. 401, Track Relay Machines. Following system mechanized track relays are available in Indian Railways. The plain track laying machines, track laying equipment, or TLE, and track relaying train, TRT. Points across lane cross and changing machines are PCM, CMs. Point crossing lane changing machines. 402, planning work on the track relaying machines. Proper organization should be used for the first move of the operation. Excavation of the track relay work. Agency for the carry out of various work shall be finalized. Requisite survey shall be carried out. Longitudinal profile alignment shall be finalized as per relevant provisions. Indian Railways Permanent Way Manual schedule the dimension proposed longitudinal profile alignment should be indicated in suitable interval along track by installing permanent reference points. Tamping machine may be deployed behind the track renewal work for achieving the desired track geometry. Long welded rail and continuous welded rail plans may be prepared and approved in advance, so adequate spares for the working of all the machines of the track relaying train. Portable crane tampers should be arranged in advance of the regular supplies ensured. Alright, 403, track laning equipment, semi-mechanized system of track renewal consisting of the self-propelled portable cranes capable of moving auxiliary tracks, 3,400 millimeter gauge. These portable cranes are moved to the worksite on flat wagons, suitable modified denominated flat wagons of flat support arrangement and stable supporting portals. So the portable cranes are capable of self-loading, unloading from flat railway wagon on each of the rail site with the portables site made ready for moving the auxiliary track. Normally, 2 portable cranes work together at a site. Schematic diagram of the track laying equipment is shown in Figure 4.1. 404, important assemblies for the track laying equipment. The side frames. Track laying equipment contains 2 vertical side frames that house 2 vertical sliding frames. The bridge. Sliding frames are joined together. The horizontal cross frames known as a bridge. The motive power, the hydraulic, electrical assemblies are installed over the bridge. The bridge can be raised and lowered to facilitate lifting or lowering of the panels. Sleeper gripper. On the underside of the bridge, grippers to pick up the sleepers are provided with the gripper of the sleepers by itself. The end of it is done by the 2 angles of the weld to the grippers. The rail clamps. Scissors type clamps are provided on both sides of the bridge to hold the rails panel up to 13 meters length, generally at 4 locations, 2 to 4 each rail. Turntable. 5. The turntable to facilitate the portable crane placing on a flat rail wagon trafficking in midsection. Turntable is provided the wagon. Turntable is supported on a wagon over the wooden platform. Okay, so it shows the sliding frame, the bridge, operator seat, the side frame, the sleeper, and the rail. 1676 running rail, 3400 auxiliary track. 405 type of the training line equipment and track laying equipment and lifting capacity of 9 tons or 12 tons are used in Indian Railways. 9 tons are the Placer, India B, ML, Simplex, and 12 tons are the manufacturer Simplex. Working mechanism, all the above similar with the dimension detail of the 12-ton machine supplied with the MX, Simplex, and NT 9-ton portable supplied past here. India given an annexer 4-1. 406 working mechanism capability of the track laying equipment to be sequence operating a relay or CTR for the track laying equipment is briefly described under as under. 1. Track panels fabricated with the PSC slip of 12.6 meters long surface rails with the base depot. The panels are floated with flat wagons 2 to 3 layers by use of the portable crane. Existing rails and tracks are cut lengths of the 12.6 meters. Speed restriction of 30 kilometers is imposed prior to cutting of the rails. 10 rail, the 10 to 20 rail panels are unloaded alongside of the track and release. Using a release for the CSD spots of the wooden block. Similar supports the 1020 rail plans are used to perform an auxiliary track of 3400 millimeter gauge. Auxiliary track is laid proper line and level with the new rail panel with the rail renewal panel. The rail renewal is also to be carried out as part of the track renewal. Otherwise, release rails are used to make auxiliary tracks. Brake formation containing the track lifting equipment and panels loaded with a flat railway wagon is brought to the side of the relaying with a diesel locomotive after getting proper traffic OEHE back with electrified section. Typical composition of the brake formation shown in Figure 4.2. 2 or 3 BFRs are kept empty to load for the release panels. Figure 4.2 shows the engine, the brake van, the rest van, the machine of the FFR for new panels, the empty BFRs. 3 methods of laying new panels depending on the cycle conditions: pushing the rake formation, pulling the rake formation, pushing the rake formation, parting the rake formation. In pull mode, the rake is standing on the existing track with the pulls away from the work side of the has advantage of the new laid track with available for the post laying work. With the most commonly used method of available with the track laying equipment. Pushing mode of the rake is pushed towards the work side with the move of the newly laid track when approaching the bridge and yard. Whenever the auxiliary track can be continued, the method of the laying is used. Parting mode of the rake with the divided in two parts of the work is performed between the jumbo traffic blocks and dividing rake into two parts of the new panel wagons, empty wagons. Using portable, one over the removing old panels, the other laying new panels. Traveling time is portable can be reduced. 6 portable cranes or track laying equipment are unloaded with the flat relay wagons to auxiliary tracks. 7 old track panels are removed and loaded with the track laying equipment. Rake and ballast is made scarfed manually, and new panels are laid at site. Portable cranes are correct alignment. You would disengage of the WRT auxiliary track. 8 proper rail ramp is provided with the beginning and end of the work before the permitting and train operation. 10 to 20 rail panels auxiliary tracks are used with the rail renewal after completion of the work of the track laying equipment. Releasing surface rail welding of the panels then done. And the cycle continues. Remaining work. The pushing method is whenever the yard of the bridge is reached. Lifting capacity is 12.6 meters. Track panel of 60 kilogram rail. PSC sleeper weighs about 7.5 tons. Thus, the 9-ton portable 12-ton portable can carry 2 12.6 millimeters. Release surface rails also release panels, then save them effort of separately carrying the release surface rail from the work site of the depot. Alright, 12. Auxiliary tracks delayed with a gauge of 3,400 millimeters for probably the same level of the mainline track, but in no case more than 50 millimeters higher than the rail level shown. Figure 4.3. Lower AT adversely affect the clearance available over the flat wagons, and hence it's undesirable. Shows Figure 4.3 show the 3,400 millimeter dynamic, 1673 millimeters running, and 0.50 millimeters auxiliary. 407. Setting up of the track laying equipment base depot. Well, organized properly laid with the base depot with the backbone of the relaying portable crane. The typical layout of the base depot is shown Figure 4.4 and 4.5.4.6. Smooth function base depot usually ultimately reflects efficiency product of the relaying work. These base depots are required to cater to the following activities: unloading new PSC sleepers for the rake and stacking, fabrication new panel with the greasing ERC and insert with the unload with the release panel, distributing release panel with adequate spacing with stacking release materials, loading prefabricated new panel with the formation of the track laying equipment, and maintenance of the machine, the dispatch with the release of material with the loading and unloading valve with the base depot is used as a ballast depot. One of the track laying equipment portable to play with the yard and yard activity. Alternatively, partial arranged by agency can provide with the contract work. So here with the transfer square arrangement, settings 1, 2, and 3 through A, B, C, and D, 500 millimeter dismantling, 2 plates of the BFR, replace panel, brake van, rest van, tamping machine, auxiliary tracks, the shunt neck, the loop line, and the running lines. Figure 4 shows the layout of the base depot, limited output, turn of square arrangement, transfer of portable crane from siding to the other, one siding, 2 siding, dismantling zone 250 millimeter for placement of the BFR, release panels, brake van, rest van, tamping machine, etc. 500 millimeters A, B, C, D, auxiliary track, shutting net, loop line, and the running line. Alright, this shows the turning square of the portable cranes. It's desired to locate the base depot of the central plate for the distance remotest work over the either side does not exceed 34 kilometers. The site selected should be also accessible with the road and shall have the electrical power supply, watering facilities inside of the base depot track should have facility entry exist in both sides of the running line. For smooth working, the base depot should have at least 3 lines of about 500 millimeters each connected. 500 meters each connected with a shunting neck with a minimum of 350 meters. Out of 3 lines, at least 2 lines should be provided with auxiliary track for the movement of portable cranes. 2 strength the depot working is described with the initialized or install with a motorized gantry crane with the moving auxiliary tracks. In addition, with a 3rd portable crane in base with the depth of the movement of the sleeper and rails panels. Gantry cranes can be 6.5 millimeters in height with the rail level to facilitate repair of the portable cranes. It is desirable to illuminate the base depot with the depot activities can be undertaken safely at night. They have enough of the plug points within 3-phase electricity supply to facilitate welding repairs required with the relaying equipment and machine of the base yard. Depot should be well connected with the figure egg nut control division zonal management depot control as well as headquarters all site work communication. Civil base depot should adequately camp facility for storage space and for the new as well as release materials. 8. The track relaying rake shall have the minimum of 16 BFRs and desirably 20 to 25 BFRs. Alright, 208 pre-relaying operation. Following operation be undertaken before during actual relaying. A base depot underloading PSC sleeper with raking, stacking the train loading equipment. Track loading equipment depot for the fabrication new panel with the greasing of the ERC insert for the unloading of the release track panel with the loading of prefabricated new track panels. These activities require to continue uninterruptedly for the smooth work and better input. The dismantling release panels also should be done simultaneously. Fabrication of the panel following the care should be taken. Ensure adequate sock of the service rail. The service rail should be cover the both ends holes should be drilled with the drilling machine to comfort. Chamfered in no case for the gas cutter should be used with the cutting rails making the both holes. The spacing of the sleeper should be marked with a full rail section, head to foot, with the making shall not be more than 1 millimeter thick, and starting with a half of the space of the rail end. The outer squareness of the sleepers shall not be more than plus or minus 10 millimeters of the tolerance spacing should not be more than 10 plus or minus 20 millimeters. Correctly given the ERC with the proper place for the TRPs, properly retained with the correct liner shall be ensured. 2. At the work side of the track may be the deep screen with advanced relaying if planned. Remaining quantity of the screen ballast should be trained out after the relaying. Auxiliary track should be laid with about 3,400 millimeter gauge, keeping the center of the line same as the main line track is shown in Figure 4.3. The CSG 9 plates with wooden blocks of the size of 560 by 250 by 125 millimeters should be used at 1.5 to 2.2 millimeters distance length auxiliary track with the support should not be extended beyond 250 millimeters inside of the track as shown in Figure 4.3. Length of the auxiliary track should match for the daily progress of the work. The special care should be taken in preparing auxiliary track and curves such of the major alignment, the curve adjustment, and the super elevation can be avoided, especially in summer months. Level of the auxiliary track should be the same with the existing main line track that must have the proper longitude cross level to avoid derailment of the portable cranes. In no case, auxiliary track should be more than 50 millimeters higher than the existing track, and in this case, should it be lower than the existing track, the auxiliary track must be prepared. Surface rails, new rail panel with the track renewal relay, TRE, track renewal, repair renewal to be done after track laying equipment work. Removal of the belts of the crib shoulders up to the bottom level of the sleeper should be ensure the full fittings of the old sleeper to ensure the avoid falling off the wheel while lifting release panels. Alright, 8. Sleepers must be single piece. All broken sleepers should be removed or replaced with advance of the release good sleepers, preferably. Girder bridge, gird rails approach with the both ends of the should be removed temporarily. In the case of level crossing encounter, they could be opened with advance removed along with the approach track. Okay, proper planning, insertion, switch, expansion, joint, inside of the correction and location should be ensured with the cutting of the long welded rail, single welded rail. Single rail should be ensured with lifted relief of the panel, otherwise placing existing running rail panels equal to the day's work to be cut by surface rails within the stretches which are to be relayed during the next day. Temporarily disconnecting and removing the permanent obstructions of the cables, cleaning the rows, axle counters, any other insulation like an embedded rail pieces with the tie bars, OHE connectors, etc. to allow unhinged progress of the work. Presence of the S&T and OHE staff should be ensured, and jumpers should be provided when required. Availability under noted equipment should be ensured at the site. P. 1 set each of the rail cutting, gas cutting equipment is good working condition. 2. Set the rail closure, each rail section being laid in various sizes of the 0.5 millimeters to 3 meters length. 4 sets of the junction fish plates, bolt joints, clamps in case existing rail section is different from the one being laid. Portable walkie-talkie site shall be provided at each relay site for effective communication between site work and adjoining station. A extra number of track panels should be fabricated in the base depot with a maintained buffer stock for the 1 to 2 working day the relay works so the work at the site does not suffer for a while of the depot working. Whenever the auxiliary track cannot be provided with a girder bridge near the PNC, the station yards work direct with the track laying equipment that shall be planned well, and advanced fabrication panels should involve the special sleepers like lock crossing bridge, light crossings, bridge, etc. shall be fabricated with the loading according to the requirement. W. Power and crew arrangements should be done in advance. X. Sequence and arrangement, rake formation, position of the machine shall be planned and conveyed with the ASME on duty. Why, before entering the block section, it must be tested and ensure that the emergency backup system machine equipment is working. Order the duplex simple change for the can also be tested and made in fit. Alright, 409, operation during block. Adequate traffic block along with the power block should be arranged. Protection of the track and safety staff of the working in the block should be ensured. After ensuring attachment, discharge, rods, jumpers, either of the auxiliary track will be running track on the either side of the working piece of the portable shall be unloaded. First required number of the existing track panels shall be removed to create the working space. Therefore, after a sequence of portables shall be arranged for the maximum output can be achieved. Sufficient labor shall be kept with alignment, lining of the track, filling with the ballast, packing with the sleeper, the passing of the train safely after clearing of the block of the track, relaying track rate TRR is a plan with a separate labor with the supervisor shall be deputed. 7. While laying out fabricated panel due to the care takes from the keep it required with the gap of the joints, keeping in mind with the rail temperature of the working, see with the particular with the curved spaces, the track of the square and of joints and sleeper squaring should be also be taken care of. At the end of the day's work, with the gap between the old track and the new track should be made with the help of the rail closure on both ends of the given the ramp, not close steps steeper than a quarter of a millimeter. Rail length of 12.6 meters. If there's level difference between the new and old track, joints shall be fish plated and clamp bolted tightly to pass the traffic. 9. During block continuous watch shall be kept with the auxiliary track on which portable applies for the instability continuity. 10. The output shall be reviewed judiciously in context, quality, and quantity of both. 410, post-relaying operation. Following the post-relay operation should be ensured with the clearance for the track and any obstruction and infringement of the SOD for the FOR, FROB, any other fixed structure with a single post and implementation distance within the capable electrified section before cancellation and traffic block. Proper lifting and posting of the track with welding joints, packing and ballast with regulating sample. Paction stabilization track raised to the speed of the different stretch of the as per table 2 with the paragraph 308 and the Indian Railway Permanent Way Manual. The training of the adequate quantity ballast over the new relay track with the full ballast section ballast equipment. Activities should be properly synchronized with the relay to ensure the raising speed with the normal and 3 cycle with the taming on the track tapers. Picking up with the leftover the release material with the dismantling auxiliary track relaying the same in advance for the day's work with the even track relay train. TRR may be the cause. Restoration capitals OHE connectors XL counters other fixtures of the check rails of the level and crossing which were removed temporarily. Ballast regulator machine tamping machines dynamic track stabilizers should be deployed to enable the raising of the speed of the normal provision of the SEJ, the senior engineer junior has a pre-approved plan into the welding of the panels. The stressing of the long welded rail should be done after welding of the panels. 411, the track relay train. Indian Railway of the track relay train, model number P811S, manufactured by the Arsco Technology USA. Alright, function of the track relay train is the system complete mechanism of the track renewal process. It does the following jobs. Threads out existing rails from the track, removes old sleepers, levels compact ballast bed, places new sleepers, and threads existing new rails into track. Works by the TRT of the track relay train. Follow the works where that can be done by the track relay train. Complete track renewal, thorough replacement of sleepers, thorough replacement of the rails. Advanced track relay train, advantage of the track relay train, features for the track loading equipment are there's no need for a prefabricated panel, therefore base depot is work limited loading, unloading sleeper and fittings. No auxiliary track is to be laid at the worksite. Concrete sleepers laid over the modified flat wagons directly taken to the worksite related one by one. New rails uploaded the work on the site on the site. New rails unloaded at the work site on the shoulders, duly paired for the fish, plated in exchange with the old rails simultaneously with the sleeper renewals. Alright, 4. Your general layout. General layout important for the track relay train. Model number P81S are shown in figure 4. Its dimensions are given in the annexure 4-2. It shows a gantry crane, power car, handling car, old sleeper pickup wheels, old tie plate from the raised position, NTV conveyor, sled over the working front plow, tusk, beam car, P8 station controller, rail lifter, sled in travel position, rear plow, suspension tie laying assembly, chair for sitting, and rail lifter, and the beam car. Alright, important unit of the track relay train, model number P81S. The beam car is 22 and 34 meters long. Beam car is hinged with the handling of the cars with the one common bogie, the one independent bogie below this car, all of the worker units with the old sleeper pickup with the dynamic plow with the sleeper flipper and index wheel with the sleeper spacing, self-guided roller for guiding in and guiding out rails, etc. Provided sleeping spaces should be changed. This could be achieved by changing the index wheel. Sled is hung from this car when it is not in use. Handle car 21 by 0.5 millimeters long. This car has one independent bogie, one common bogie with the beam car. All the conveyors include the new tie conveyor as are provided in this conveyor car. Your power car is 14.81 meters long. This is 4-axle vehicle with a track relay train. Power unit is provided on one half of the length of the car, remaining half is utilized in loading in the sleeper. 413 working mechanism of the track relay train. Fittings alternate sleeper to be removed in advance. The resting of the fittings are removed for after arrival of the machine. Rail closer over about 7 millimeters of the length of the track TRR. Also is planned else one cut of the TSR is only planned to introduce the existing track as a starting point. Crib shoulder ballast and the rail closer portion is taken out. The track relay train is taken into site work hauled by a locomotive diesel electric. Track relay train is stopped at the site of the work of the position, and such as the side plow on its first sleeper, the cutout of the rail. 5. The lowering of the shoulder and side plow. 6. The removal of the 7 meter long rail closure. Lowering the sled 3.4 millimeters of the beam car with the rail seats of the rail closure removed. Bringing ideal bogie with the handling of the car sled to lock on the bringing back of the machine. Slowing out the old rails. Remove the train relay train ahead of the sled clears the rail closure portion. 10. Remove the old sleepers manually from the closure. Air level the ballast portions. 11. Sleeper pick up the wheel of the dynamic plow are lowered in place and cleared by removal of the old sleepers. The rail end and proceeding day's workshop connected to the new rails laid on the sleeper's shoulder. Track relay train moves forward and starts removing old sleepers by picking up the wheel by a pickup wheel as shown in figure 4-8, commencing laying of the new concrete sleepers, advancing of the machine on the automatic mode. So the new sleeper and the old wheel, old pickup, new sleeper goes down, the old sleeper goes up. Track relay train moves ahead, old rails threaded out, new rails and threaded in with the help of the guiding rails. Rollers provided along with the length of the train. Relay train is shown figure 4-9 below. Alright, 4-9 show the working direction going from remove the rail, central guidance device, handling wagon, roller clamp, retreading out operation, and then the bottom one show the central guidance device, beam wagon, roller clamp, new threaded rail, threading of the operation. And 16 show the fixing of the points that was done at the rear. 414 operation prior to deployment of the track relay train system. The base depot. Ensure the proper selection of the base depot site. With the base depot, the track relay train should be centrally located 30 to 40 kilometers lead in the area of work, and it should have the water, electricity, communication set up. Also, the accommodation of the machine and the permanent wait staff should also be available. The provision sufficient stock of the new sleeper, elastic rail clippers, and liners and rail pads. Ensure proper lining level of the auxiliary track with 3400 to 3700 millimeter gauge. Proper working and required loading and unloading of the sleepers. Number 30. The 30 NOS BFR shall be modified at 1/7 of the track relay train. 114 sleepers approximately loaded with one BFR, approximately 15 to 20 2,000 more sleepers are able to be loaded on them required during the block, while the loading of the PSE sleepers, special BFRs, wooden batten 75 by 75 millimeter light rail section shall be provided between the different layers of the outer side of the MCI inserts, where this will enable the gripper to concrete to function properly. Load rail fastens like elastic rail clips, liners, rail pads as required during the block at work site. A condition of the sleeper should be seen that all corroded and broken steel of the CST-9 sleepers should be remarked with a foot-by-foot survey should be carried out with identified locations have the lateral longitudinal infringement. There should be no infringement with 1 meter of sleeper ends. All obstructions shall be like the creep of the post alignment posted within 1 meter of the sleeper end should be removed. The adequate ballast should be available before relaying operation start with the tamping and the raising of the speed of the not delayed. Deep screening should be carried out in advance whenever feasible, except the ballast should be removed. The shoulder should be brought down whenever feasible. The sleeper level it should be ensured that the ballast bed is fully consolidated. Check the rails level. The crossing falling into the range of the work shall be removed in advance. As all longer fish bowls and jogged fish plates shall be removed from the carriage of work. New rails should be unloaded. Pair of fish plated welded in one piece as required with the day's work and set with about 1.5 meter from the track. Some of the rails should be kept on with 1 foot adequate support so they do not get shifted during the work of the track relay train. Track relay train. All reverse jaw sleepers in case of the CST-9 sleeper track shall be removed alternately. Their lip may be cut with a lip cutter so that they are removable and not just obstructed. Along with the wooden sleeper, the joints can be either removed or cut to size of the vans of the track relay train working and interlaced sleepers of the height different. Remaining sleepers should be removed and ensure the fittings of the old track, if they're not jammed, they can be removed while working, loosening them, and refitting of the advance in any of the problem anticipated. In case of the CST-9 sleeper gauge, alright, CST should be in advance of the hitting of the sleeper that's led assembly during lifting of the CST-9 sleepers. 7 wooden sleepers, the PSE sleepers should be delayed on the track at location of 5 sleepers behind with a rail cut ballast around them removed from an easy placement of the plow. At location where the relaying is started with the 2 rail pieces of the 7 by 3 millimeter lengths of the cut and the connected together with the well-greased fish bowls to enable the quicking opening of the during the block. Plan the location of the cut, the old track for the closing of the work sites over the match of the rail end of the new rail plan with some of the extra gap of the preferable to add the new rail while threading and likely straighten and extended. Walkie-talkie so the communication should be available to the engine driver, the junior, senior, section engineer, permanent way of the machine staff shall join the station. Ensure availability for the staff and S&T, the signal and traffic for the staff is connected to any wire routing distributed during the block. Q, ensure the removal of the OHE bond with the floor of the block, temporary bonding of the OHE mat with the job to be done with the OHE staff will remove these bonds while providing these bonds after completion of work. Ensure that each of the bonding of the new rail panel those should be the minimum of 3 bonds each panel length of 300 meters. Ensure and removal of the alternate key for the case for the CST sleepers inside of the alternate key in case of the CST sleepers. So the remaining keys shall be checked for the AZ removal. Similarly with the ERC shall be checked for the jamming and the jam for the ERC shall be removed for the refix before the block. Existing PSE sleepers about 2 rail lengths can be replaced with wooden sleepers to avoid loss of the time while working. And de-stressing high temperature of the old stack of the tacks should be carried out with as removal of the manual instruction of the long welded rails. Operation during the block of the track relay train. Alright, 4:15 operation during block of the track relay train. Shield hydraulic pipes and other moving part of the track relay train so that in case of any of the mishap they do not hit the OHE mass. Always check the OHE block and staff that may require for the climb on top of the machine with the repair with the accessory case for any of the breakdown. Ensure proper track protection at the site of the work. Look out for the men in hooter in good working order to give it the warning of the train approaching with any other line. Utmost caution should be taken while lowering and raising climb in order to avoid infringement of the adjacent line and ensure the speed restriction of the adjacent line not more than 50 kilometers an hour. Ensure the safety of the men working at site. Or 4:16 post-block operation track relay train. Balancing of the track should be done immediately after the track relaying train operation. Ballast regulator tamping machine, the dynamic track stabilizer should be deployed to enable rising of the speed that normally in the shortest possible time. Switch expansion joints should be provided at locations as provided. Long welded rail, continuous welded rail plan. Check rail should be provided a level of crossing after the final tapping of the track. De-stressing of the long welded rail should be done immediately after welding the rail panels from the long welded rails. Fourth, of being precautions during the track relay train working. The following precautions should be taken with the track relay train working. It should be ensured that the ballast bed is nearly deep. Screening track is fully with constant data, but that there's no fear of settlement of the ballast bed during the track relay train working. Do not unload the excessive ballast in advance for the cause of the excessive drag on the machine. Do not open all the keys in advance. This should be opened only as the machine approaches the planned site of the renewal. Do not stand close to the machine with the modifier with the BFRs. Do not touch the gantry rails. Do not stand on the BFR while the gantry is moving over with the new and old sleepers. Do not allow the gantry to stand on with its wheels different with the BFRs. With work, do not sit on the rail seat with the mean over the liner rubber pad placement. Do not climb on the top of the track relay train without OHE block and electrified section. Alright, 14. Points and cross-lane changing machine. The PCCM. The machine with the point cross-lane changing machine available to the IR2828 manufacturer of the AMECA Italy, used for placing lane, completing assembly turnout, important use of the AMECA T28 as shown in figure 420. So it's a portable constraint, a motorized trolley, a motorized trolley, fabricated piece, portable crane. Alright, 14. Important units of the AMEC 228 portable crane. Number 2 says the two cranes capacity of 30 tons each can lift the handle with a complete turnout with a 60 kilograms, 1 and 12 weighing about 54 tons. Can also be used to handle a normal track while working in pair with the connection between the two portable cranes to provide with the turnout or the track portion in which is being handled. Portable cranes are provided with a railway movements over the track with the crawler with the movement over the firm ground. Fabricated panel is lifted between the sides of the frames and can be carried with the forward of the crawlers. The panel can also be literally shifted with these portals. Both portals are identical, one either the crossing end of the other on the switching end, with the center of the crossing with the end of the heavier the portable because of opposition is so adjust the load on the crossing side of the portal does not exceed 30 tons. Position of the gripping arrangement with the portal end can be adjusted as both the portable identical. Those can be interchangeable at either end of the adjusting the gripping arrangement. Adjusting of the hook arrangement provided the accessory of the portable crane with additional support, help with the proper alignment of the turnout assembly at the time of laying. Important parameters of the portable crane are given: load capacity 30 tons, speed at 0.8 kilometers max, speed of the non-load 10 kilometers max, maximum foot lift of the full load 2300 millimeters, height of the closed position 3065 millimeters, height of lifted position 4744 millimeters, crawler width 3600 millimeters, crawler lateral tolerance 260 millimeters minimum, 616 millimeters max, moving width 360 millimeters minimum, 710 millimeters max, maximum axle load 66 tons, total weight 24 tons. This is important dimension of the portable given in Annex 343 of the crawler's lateral clearance movement width is shown for figure 411. Alright, trolleys, four number there. 2 motorized, 2 non-motorized trolleys. For the trolleys are used the transport with the symbol to turn out on the track with the motorized trolley. With the number 2 with the head with the facility laterally with about 300 millimeters on either side of the lift of the vertically about 300 millimeters. On such motorized travel, they place each of the end of the cross portion, switch portion, shifting with the turnout laterally, vertically with the clearing of the obstruction, single pole with the OHE and mat platform, etc. While transport with the assembled turnout. Important parameters of motorized trolleys are given below. Height 510 millimeters, lateral shift 3 plus or minus 300 millimeters, upper table of rotation 10 degrees, vertical lift at 300 millimeters, capacity 25 tons, jib crane. Pre-stressed concrete sleeper to turnout requires careful handling to avoid damage with the during and unloading and assembling laying with the sleeper to transport with flat wagons unload with the air assembly with a depot with the yards near with the siding of the side with the laying. There are PSC sleepers that have to be spread with the proper space for the linking with the turnout assembly, the jib crane that you have to unload with the placement of these PCS sleepers. Alright, 420, working mechanism capability, AMEC 228, the portable crane with the 228, self-loading, unloading type with the can load and unload itself with the road truck with a railway wagon that required with a long-distance transportation 1 yard to another. 2 portables brought with the railway road wagon load itself with the wagon along with the 4 trolleys with the trolleys are placed on the track with the portable crane placed with itself with the fabricated panel with the move of the crawler as well as the side shift the capability of the point crossing renewal can be done with the longitudinal forward launching with the transverse sliding launching with the combination both depending on the condition, longitudinal forward launching, fabricated panel with the lift of the portable crane shifted laterally placed with the 4 trolley with the adjacent railway track with the fabricated with the panel that's assembled over the track with the trolley The trolleys are pushed underneath after the portable cranes are lifted and paneled with the load panel is then towed, and one port of the portable crane moves rail wheel on the side of the laying of the other portable crane valve as shown in Figure 410. Both portable cranes are brought with the crawlers spreading their support legs moved in the position of the fabricated panel. Trolleys lift the panel with the release of the trolleys. Trolleys are shifted, pushing them manual sliding the fabricated panel. Longitudinal move with the crawler in place prepared with the correction of the correct position shown Figure 412. Part 8, longitudinal lateral shifting proper joining with adjacent to the track alignment with the panel that is also carried with the portable crane. With the portable cranes after placement of the turnout inspection load itself with the newly laid turnout support with its own wheel rails. Move the siding 1. The siding can also be cleared with the portable cranes of the trolley if required. So each side portable can attach 2 trolleys. The end lateral shifted with the ground. The other line even can self upload and flat wagons on with the road vehicle as per requirement in clearing the siding. 2. Transverse side launching. The fabricated panel with the side with the located with the speedy lay with the T28 machine can lay with the prefabricated panel with the trolleys. The fabricated panel with the lifted wheel for the portable laterally shifted position with lighting using shifting system. The machine shown in Figure 413 lifted panel can be longitudinally adjusted to position using crawler bases. So here's Figure 413. Working with the AMECA 228 with the lateral shifting with 1 to 12 TOs, maximum lateral shifting switch side with a TO assembly with a 1.5 millimeter approximately on cross sliding with a 3/4 of a meter approximately each shifting operation. Portable crane can negotiate level difference of 679 millimeters while moving around as shown in Figure 414. Part laying assemble the diamond cross with the PRC with the diamond assembly can also be laid with the AMCE 228 portable with following modification. The way with the double slip of the diamond across with the PCS slippers with the 62 ton, therefore the 5 slip with the number 50 and number 54 will have to be removed to keep the total weight at 54 tons. The center of the diamond crossing layout with the crossing head with both ends of the gripping location should be adjusted accordingly. Position of the portal should be adjusted with both shares almost equally loaded. Laying half panel happen, and in the case of the breakdown, one portable during traffic block with a fabricated panel can be laid down, cutting the panel into 2 pieces, each of the panel weighed less than 30 tons. Using one portable for laying each of the half with 1 1/2 of the gripping position, half of the will have the adjusted according to panel being handled. Alright, 421 pre-block operation of the T28 MC with the following pair of operations are made with the new turnout should be assembled with the jib cram in the ear of the side of the turnout to be replaced with the fitting with the assemble. The turnout should complete the properly tighten with the ERC with the insert with the grease. Suitable location is not available nearby with the assembly may be done away from the site with the end transportation could be done with the help of the trolleys. Infringements on the way should be checked with the movement of the tooling accordingly may be planned. 2 of the assembled turnout should be loaded with the trolleys and the transportation where playing with rails on either side of the existing turnout should be preferably by the same of the section of the new turnout with the 1 rail length of the same section but either side of the new assembly should be kept with the readiness and should be changed in advance. 4. Deep screen with the turning portion of the should be done ensure the required of the cushion and proper drain with the rail levels should be taken with sufficient length for either side of the turnout. The proposed rail profile should be plowed with the bolt main and the loop line with the point of the machine should be designated with the S&T with the gears turnout with the should be disconnected before taking over the replacement. Bells for the grip and shoulder of the sleepers should be removed up to the sleeper bottom from the top full turn out length. 60 wooden blocks each of approximately 60 centimeters long should be kept ready for the facilitating passage of the crawler on the obstacle of number 4 number is over the rail piece for the 70 centimeters long should be kept ready for the supporting of the rail weave of the crane during the shifting and jumping with the both ends of the turnout should be done by electrical staff before lifting and removing the existing turnout. 10. Adequate arrangements should be made with the protection of the line involved with adjacent lines which machine is working. Fish bolts should be lubricated work for the easy removal during the block. Location where the clamp at each of the crane will hold the crossing of the switch for the portion lifting the should be marked with motorized shovel should be filled with the petrol with the working efficiency should be checked. Concrete breakers all should be available to break an obstruction with a concrete foundation. Operation during the block of the T28 MC with immediate after getting the adequate traffic block. Both fish bolts existing turnout should be opened with the OH OHE connectors should be disconnected. Both cranes should be transverse brought into position for handling with existing turnout and should be demarcated. Position of the old turnout should be lifted with the crane with the transverse and suitable location for the other dismantling after the block. Crane should be transverse to pre-assemble the concrete sleeper turnout with both cranes should be taken to demonstrate and democrate and demacrated position on the turnout. Simultaneously with the gains should verify with the ballast for the location where the turnout has been removed. The ballast bed should lower the accommodate with the extractor height in the case of the concrete sleepers. If any hindrances encountered, they should be removed immediately to allow the turnout sleeper to rest as it places in the level of the crawler side frame. The crane shall be spread suitable in stage of the accommodate length with the turnout sleepers on the demarcated spot location on each of the crane preload fabricated. The turnout should be held in the crane with the crane's width turnout by transverse and stage brought into the location of the laying. The turnout is laid in position fish plate with a bolt of the existing track. One crane is transverse on the track. Second is utilized for the final alignment of the turnout. But after placing the turnout, the gang shall fill the back of the ballast manually. 423 post-block operation of the T28 MC with the ballast efficiency should be made with a good putting of the additional ballast profile and the boxing of the ballast should be done. Turnout should be detained with the help of the Unimat machine. Both of the alignment of the levels should be corrected with one alternative for the turnout. Turnout may be the interlock point machine engaged immediately after laying out the turnout. OHE connector should be put in place. The damage of the assessing of the during the block operation should be made good. Provision of the proper earthing points should be ensured by electrical staff. Alright, 421, miscellaneous. Because of all the small diameter of the wheels of 400 millimeters of the machine, movement over the fixed diamond crossing must be avoided within the section where the machine is required to run the service. Maximum permissible speed over the crane is for 10 kilometers when it runs its own power. Whenever the travel is short of approximately 100 meters, no major obstacles exist. Traveling on the collar is recommended. During transverse of the collars with the lifted turnout cranes can turn around plus or minus 5 degrees. Motorized trolleys designed to perform 300 millimeter lifter at lateral shifting on both sides of this is used to correct the loading across portion which is wider by lateral shifting of the trolley platform. Obstacle on the way may be avoided. Alright, now we're on to annexures of 4.1. This is a track relay machine.